Hi, I'm Hank, and we're at Golden Age Collectables in downtown Vancouver, talking with Max Landis about his hit comic book series, Superman, American Alien.
You established yourself as the dude with opinions on Superman comics. Now you're a dude who's done a Superman comic. How does that transition feel like for you?
Fucking insane. When I was little, I would watch the old Superman cartoons, like the old 1930s, 40s ones. And that was my first exposure to the character. And I was so blown away by the way he moved in those, because he would the way he flew wasn't like a bird. He would like pounce into the sky and then keep going. And when he'd fight the big robots or go next to the train, I would be like, this is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. Although I didn't, I was small, so I was, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I was so impressed by that by the time I started picking up Superman comics when I was like 8, I was like so pumped up to have this like wacky adventure with Superman. And I think the first Superman comic I picked up was the death of Superman. And I remember reading it and being like, this is pretty bad, actually. and comparing it to the Spider-Man comics I was reading at the time and just being so fundamentally unimpressed by it and hating it. And so then, the Superman comics in the 90s, then you went into like the Return of the Superman and Black Suit Superman and then the red and blue different Superman, and I sort of fell away from it, but I got more and more ingrained in Marvel comics, and then eventually Green Lantern and Jeff Johns' The Flash, and of course Batman. That was the whole era of No Man's Land, and then all that, and I sort of found myself moving away from the character. Yet when people would ask me like, who's your favorite superhero, in my head I'd be like, Superman, obviously, because I'd remember him pouncing into the sky like that, and I remember thinking, God, that's cool. That's what superheroes are really all about, is a sense of wonder. That's the thing that's unique to them in as much as fictional characters, is the idea of wonder. It's good to have relatable characters, but when you look at Greek myths, it's about scale. When you look at action films, it's about excitement. When you look at superheroes specifically, there's a sense of wonder, and they capitalized on that. When there's nothing cooler to imagine than actually seeing Spider-Man swing by. Like when you see it in a movie, it's like, okay, there it is, it's CG. But if you saw that in real life, it would be one of the most impressive things you've ever seen. I go to Cirque du Soleil, and when someone swings from a thing 10 feet, I'm like, wow! Like, the idea that someone could actually swing between buildings is huge. And no superhero inspires more wonder than Superman. So as my career sort of came to a head, I got to this point where there was going to be a new Superman movie, and I was the most excited I'd been for a movie, and then I went and saw Man of Steel, and I was like, what the f*** is this? And I was very sort of alienated by it, and it woke up this thing in me. I'd already made Death in Return for YouTube, but it woke up this thing in me where I was like, could I do this? Could I do a comic and have it be at all good? Because I'd gone online and been like, meh, Superman, meh, I'm Max. And people were like, shut the f*** up. And so I sort of saw this as an opportunity to put my money where my mouth is. And you rarely get to do that as a writer. I'm sorry, that story went from my childhood to all over the place. I talked about Spider-Man.
I think that's kind of what we expect.
I just had 3 cups of coffee because I was nervous about coming here. So I feel crazy. And you're getting like a very unfiltered version of this. It's insane. It's fucking insane. The fact that it's been received the way it has is crazy. I had a thing on Thursday where I got very emotional because that's something I wanted to do my whole life. And then I did it. And now it's just done. I don't know.
How does that feel?
Crazy. It feels crazy. I'm getting a tattoo. It's. I don't know. I don't know how that feels. I look at that picture, and I had that. You can see the Superman, the Clark Kent going like that. I drew that in my folder in elementary school. All the people pulling open their shirts and Clark Kent doing that. That's from my childhood. So it's just crazy. I haven't processed it yet, I think is the only real answer. Is that there were all these things I wanted to work on as a child that I never thought I'd get the opportunity to work on. And I don't know. This isn't a very eloquent answer. It's crazy.
What was your agenda going in on it?
I wanted to do a Superman comic like it was an indie comic. I wanted to do it about a specific character rather than about an adventure or a storyline. And I wanted people who would not otherwise read Superman or had never read a Superman comic to be like, wow, what a cool comic book. And really I just wanted to make I wanted to make everyone who read it cry once. Somewhere in there I wanted you to tear up once. And that was really my objective, was to make you emotionally invested in a character that's thought of as bland and invincible.
This is going to be such a painful question, but like, was there a moment that really stood out for you in it, where you're like where you walked away and were like, that's a stamp, that's a thing.
The moment I'm proudest of is a moment no one cares about or likes.
So lay it on us, man.
There's a moment. It's really simple, but there's a moment I don't even think people notice, where Superman confronts these tweakers in the second issue in Hawk, and he blows off a guy's arms and he knocks another guy through a building. And then the fight ends with someone being taken hostage, and Clark's all fucked up, and Pete Ross has to save Superman. And that's how that confrontation ends. Superman just fucking loses. He out and out just loses the fight, and then has to be like, then he's arrested by police. And I'd never seen, I don't think in a comic I'd ever seen Harry Osborn or, Alfred even, any of these secondary characters be allowed to full on be useful. Pete Ross in the mainstream universe became president of the United States and all this weird shit. But I don't know, I always thought about how weird it would be. I have a couple of friends who are extremely successful and famous. And whenever I'm with them, I feel like I'm 20 feet behind them, even if I'm sitting next to them. Imagine if your best friend was Superman and you have to hang out with Superman and he just wants to have a good time with you. The idea that you could be useful to Superman in any way, I think, is really special, and that's probably my favorite moment in American Alien, which is weird because it's no one's favorite moment.
Nice. In the loosest way, man, what's happening next? What's happening now? Talk about why you're in Vancouver?
I'm in Vancouver because I have 2 greenlit TV shows, both of which are filming in Canada, one of which I'm showrunning, called Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. By the way, if you told me I would be doing, when I was 30, if you told 14-year-old me I was going to be finishing a run on Superman and doing a Douglas Adams TV show, I would have had a brain aneurysm and died. This is huge for me. But I have 2 TV shows. Then as soon as I wrap production on Dirk, I go back to LA to shoot Bright, which is my David Ayer Netflix movie. It's End of Watch with magic. It's gonna be fucking sick. It's the first time in my entire career as a screenwriter where before a movie has started shooting, I am fully confident that it's gonna be pretty good. Then in January is my I go from shooting Bright to shooting my movie Deeper, my Bradley Cooper underwater guy in a pod, things that are bad are happening movie, which is all I can say about it without spoiling it. And then hopefully, in the interim there, I'm going to be doing Higher. I have a couple of secret projects that I'm working on that I'm not allowed to talk about yet. I'm allowed to talk about this. I'm writing a Pepe Le Pew movie for Warner Brothers. If you're familiar with Pepe Le Pew, he's an animated skunk who has real trouble with the word no, I re-envisioned him as sort of this extremely debonair, sexy, sort of feminist icon. I reversed Pepe Le Pew hugely, and he's in an animated all animal cast, The French Connection. It's like a thriller. I don't know if it'll ever get made, but they're very excited about it, and I'm very excited about it. It's like a sexy French thriller. And the way I'm writing the script is in love with him. So everything Pepe does in the script, then in the action lines, I, as the writer, react wow, Pepe's so brave. What a man. It's so stupid. I think it's going to be really good. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, I think we should get rolling with this thing.
Sure. That was the most rambling I think I've been, and that's saying something. Yeah. Hi, guys.
Thanks to Max and to everybody who showed up. It was one of our best events here at Golden Age Collectibles in downtown Vancouver.